It's one of those days we don't wanna wake up. Everything is fine, everybody's done. You don't really know why, but you ain't justified. No human contact. If you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. Stop the cheese and bullshit. I think you better quit, let it slip. Stop the cheese and bullshit. I think you better quit talking that shit. Just for those days, alien freight train. It's worth one to complain, wait for the blessing. Yeah, right, I'm a maniac. Better watch your back. That nigga sucked up, just locked up. That's why I get fucked up. Best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. Stop the cheese and bullshit. I think you better quit, let it slip. Stop the cheese and bullshit.
Hey, I'm Lisa Melchert with Front Row Promotions, where we do interviews and much, much more. Come join us on Facebook, Front Row Promotions Group. Don't forget to follow us on the Front Row Promotions page. Subscribe and hit that bell. Like and leave a comment. Now, we love you at Front Row Promotions. We're always honored to have you here. Without you, we have no one to interview. That's why you rule. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Madness of the Mad Shed channel on YouTube. Now, the Mad Shed,
The Mad Shed!
the Mad Shed,
The Mad Shed!
the Mad Shed channel rules. Hey, this is Lisa Melchert from Front Row Promotions, representing the Mad Shad channel on YouTube. So subscribe now to the Madness of the Mad Shad channel. He sponsors us with Front Row Promotions and people around the world. And don't you forget to subscribe to Front Row Promotions for interviews and much, much more. Hey, Lisa Melchert here. How are you doing today? Tuesday evening, today, tonight, however, whatever. Support live music, music in the making, music everywhere. I want to make sure I get that out to you. We need that support. Yes, 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 yes. Always promote, always support, support, support. All right, so I have a wonderful interview set up for you guys to hear. Yeah, so good. I'm so glad everybody's here. All right, so I am going to introduce, and you'll see who it is in just one moment. He's in the green room. I'm going to leave him there for one more minute.
So let's go there. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask and we stare. Can you take me higher to a place where night unseen, with arms wide open? Show you everything, oh yeah, with arms wide open, wide open. When you are with me, I'm I'm careless, I believe. Above all the others, will fly. This brings tears to my eyes, my sacrifice. Light to free me from my burden and bring me life eternally on.
Well, how do you like that? Yes, it's a Creed tribute band, Human Clay. All right. And it is brought to you all, by Kathleen Gray of, let me see, I get tongue twisted. Wait a minute. Metal Meltdown Records. Metal Meltdown Records. That's it. And thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so much for bringing George here for me and for everybody to see this amazing interview. I'm going to pull him out of the green room. All right. And here he is. Hey, George.
Woo!
How are you?
Boy,
Woo!
that was a long walk. Let me tell you, you have the best green room in the country.
I know, all kind of goodies backstage, isn't it? You got cookies and beer and soda, Pepsi.
Well,
You know.
hey, I was going to say, well, with everything that you just named, I basically love the water that you have back here. I am a, I don't want to mislead any of your viewers out there that, that's the funny thing. Whenever we go on the road, I don't drink, I don't smoke now. So,
Oh, that's good.
is one of those things. Well, hopefully the performance is a little bit better with all those things that I thought that were making me really cool and great, which is a little, I don't know what the demographic that you have, but for all the kids out there that are listening that want to be rock stars, you're not going to be partying that long.
Yes.
If that's your goal, then I would say go out there and attack it full force.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if you want, if you want longevity in this very awesome new age that we live in. I've been doing music since the age of about 8 or 10. So, if you talk about the times that that you enjoy what you're doing,
Yes.
everybody's always chasing something. Either you're chasing fame, you're chasing some kind of fortune, or you're looking at I won't call it respect, because everybody has their own little group that they first started of, I remember George whenever he was, in this band, and you'll name that band, and everybody's like, I've never heard of that band ever, and
Oh,
no
no.
one ever will, because it was my first high school band, So all of those friends, if you talk about in this longevity of it, you youngsters out there, you're going to think it's going to be sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it can be, but
Yeah.
with everything, and I'm not really sure how, I don't want to bust the facade too
Yes.
much, but if you talk about everything that you see in Hollywood is exactly that. If you're like, wow, that's just too good to be true, your mom was right. And it's all basically already scripted, already played out. Half the stuff that you think that you're watching for the first time on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
it has really already been set up a year before, and it looks all like it's happening brand new. And now you have 1.2 million followers and all those great views that you get because of that. But again, I have been waiting in the wings for 20 plus years to meet the world. So I
Wow.
know I know that, in this little small time that I have, I really know that my message is true. And that's why this Creed tribute band that I'm um, and I'll say a part of, because it isn't all me. It isn't all Issam, the guitar player, or Randy, the bass player, or Jay, the drummer.
Right.
We
Mm-hmm.
all feel in talks and just being who we are. We've been in all kind of your projects, and so we've all found that we all bring something awesome to the table. So I'm not going to try to step on what you do. You don't step on what I do. And as we all bring it together, it forms this awesome table that it just stands up itself.
I
And then
like that.
and
Absolutely.
and the product itself then gave itself its own wings, because with every show that we played, with every time that with our management that we have now, the
Yes.
time that Jay would put in, we're not even, a part of this guy's roster yet. And we're already giving time to the things that he believed in, because we want to be a part of a team. So if all those pieces come together, it still only matters that I am on your channel right now to proclaim that Christ is the King. He's coming soon. If you don't know him, bow your knee now before you have to in eternity.
That's true. Absolutely.
And that's just like we won't talk about it anymore. We let the music speak for it, but
Yes.
that's why this project is going around I don't want to overspeak my bounds because we're right now going around the nation of the United States of America. Um, and the music is proclaiming it, and I'm getting a chance to stand behind the music and behind my faith. So it's really a
Very
wonderful
good.
thing instead of grinding our wheels here in Florida, where, for, and it's really funny to say, but for a month and a half, we were a local band. After a month, we were a regional band. And after
Yes.
about 3.5 months, we were a national act. So
Oh,
again,
wow.
things, with this process, I've been in bands that, again, have been going to the Whiskey a Go Go and playing, and still I can name that band and you wouldn't know who they are. So it's a
Yeah,
funny, it's a
very
funny,
true.
it's a funny thing how you can do the same thing, but when it really kind of gets its own wings, that it really has merit. That you're not pushing it down people's throats. It's a matter of you're in. I'm from a sales background, so the first thing you're going to see
Okay.
with me, Lisa, is the fact that there has to be a supply, right? But there has to be a demand
Yes,
before you can even do a supply. So for
that's
7
true.
years I've been sitting here in Florida waiting for the right opportunity, and then um, you know this band would not be what it is without social media, because we all met
Yes.
on a post from Facebook on two gentlemen, and that's you know Jay and Randy, who left another tribute band with working with, and I'm not a big namer or big name dropper. Um,
Yeah.
we worked with a lot of great people in this great music industry, from LA to, and I'll say, you know, uh, I don't want to leave you out, but I'll say New York. I have a lot of friends in New Jersey now. So, as everybody I meet down here, it always seems like they come from New Jersey. It's like,
I I know
yeah,
a lot of bands that I see and I interview, and it's like, oh, where are you from? New Jersey or PA, or things like that, and it's very cool because it's very different. It's not just one area, but I noticed that as well. So where are you from? Are you from New Jersey, or
I
you're in
am not.
Florida? You're in Florida, right?
Well, I like to call, thank you for saying that. I like to call myself a Floridian native, if you will, now that I've been here for
Okay.
7 years. But
Okay.
I came from the Midwest. So I came from um, it's so funny because this is SEC country, everything down south, right? I came from
Okay.
the I came from the Big Ten. So in the Big Ten, football, basketball, you name it, there's the University of Illinois, right? So where I'm from, Monticello, Illinois, is
Okay.
about 25 minutes from Champaign, Urbana.
Oh,
So
okay.
so we had a very, it's still trying to thrive music scene. But in the 80s, I grew up with my brother, who in Champaign Urbana, they had a place called Mabel's, and it was a block and a half right off, you know, the University of Illinois campus. So,
Wonderful.
you're talking, they had, name any great band in the 80s, they came through Mabel's. So
I
there was
love the
always,
80s. That's my favorite,
me
favorite,
too, me too,
my
me too.
favorite time. It's all the wonderful bands. We had a place here called Hammerjacks, and most of oh my God, everybody you knew,
Yep.
people that wasn't somebody then or is somebody now, local bands, and all of our favorite bands played there. Wonderful. Big and big major acts would come through there. Wonderful. Yeah.
Well,
So,
now
yeah.
that I got to kind of chuckle because I was really good friends with um, the guys in REO Speedwagon.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I knew two of the singers before
Okay.
they were famous, who nobody know. You know what I mean? That nobody
Right.
knows. But it's like, in a little small town that you're go to the bigger town where you meet bigger fish, or what have you. It's like, oh, I used to sing for REO. So the funny great thing is where everybody always saying, yeah, whatever, we remember that, but you never made it with them. The fact that everything is happening with REO now,
Yes.
how you doing, Tim Luttrell?
Mhm.
Congratulations, my friend. They're now getting to play the State Farm Center, which was Assembly Hall back in the day,
Very
or
cool.
of the University of Illinois. So the
Nice.
big acts that came through,
Uh-huh.
him, and of course the bass player Bruce Hall, which
Yeah.
now him and Kevin had his thing that he's not with the band anymore. They're having their own little concert there. So I'm
Wow.
so happy for my friend on the fact of he's getting his due on the
That's
fact that
very cool.
it is so
Awesome.
great. So
Very,
got
very cool. Congratulations on that. Yes,
it is so great.
it
So
is. It's so
so
cool. So,
the funny thing is, so now with this act that we got with our Creed tribute, and it is
yes.
called Human Clay. It is
Okay.
the second album that went, and I'm going to say it wrong, but three times platinum, 20 times whatever, worldwide, whatever,
Absolutely.
had the big grip on them. So um, I got to be honest, I'm not really sure if it was Jay or if it was Randy who came up with our name, Human Clay, but it really
Okay.
represents who we are. If I can
That's
say,
true.
in our message, in everything, it all represents what we're trying to do, and that is go back to 1999 and give you, you know, that feeling that you had whenever you first heard them again. And then, with being a real tribute to it, we do our best to go back and try to, you know, give you that essence. And most
Yes.
people only have the essence in a video.
Okay.
So, and basically, it's really up to me to have the wardrobe changes in
Oh,
a
wow. Wow.
in
Okay.
a tribute act. So we've got 2 or 3 wardrobe changes depending on how hot
That's
it
what I was
is.
going to ask you. You change it between on the show. I mean,
Yeah,
in your show,
yeah,
different acts. Okay, well, that's really cool. I notice
yeah.
how that can happen. A lot of times, there's different bands I see do that, and I don't know how do you have that time frame to hurry up and switch to
Well,
the different
with
costumes.
no, a great one. I mean, a lot of people have I hate to call it a staff or a group that is behind them. So,
Right.
we have our own personal staffs, but when we go out and we have to um you know, I hate to use the word, we practice on our own,
Yes.
that's not rehearsal. Rehearsal's getting together and now doing what we've talked about and making it come to life. So, you know, for the first, I don't know, 8 shows, we really were, I mean, me personally, I wasn't concentrating on a lot of wardrobe change because
Right.
I didn't have that staff ability to say, hey, I need to set this up for me, and when I get off, you're going to put my jacket on, take my pants off. You know what I mean?
You
And
got to change to 2.2.
right. Well, I'm saying, and I'm married, so it isn't like I can just grab anybody off. Hey, I want to take my pants off in front of you. Is that all right? You know what I mean? So,
Oh my lordy. Yeah.
we have to come up with certain things. So, we're in the process now, which is funny. If you talk about what that is, and I say Chippendales, but that kind of pant for
Right,
my
with
for
the snaps and they just come up. I've been
yeah,
to plenty of shows, so
yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen it. Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. But right
So
now, we again we try to give the look, and right now it's more just with higher and with arms wide open, those 2 looks that you remember from
yes,
the video. So
absolutely.
as I do it, I just kind of peel off. So
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
oh my goodness, you should have seen it when we got there because we have those at the end of the show. So it's really funny how over when we were in South Carolina, staying at Suck Bang Blow, it's 10 o'clock at night, about 98 degrees, which is 102, with all the other added onto it. And
Right,
even before we did a note, sang of anything, this hair was already sopping wet. My shirt was drenched.
I can
So
imagine.
it was
Mhm.
hilarious on the end of just trying to get through it. So it was great, like
Wow.
having a shirt on to be able to take it off and go, oh my goodness, that feels so good. Okay, oh no, here comes that wardrobe change. I'm about to put that leather jacket on again.
Phew, I know, and then all the hot lights beaming down on you. So
Oh
let's
yeah,
let's
yeah.
talk a little bit about your background. Like, where did you when you first realized that you wanted to become a musician, like I know
Wow.
you said you were younger, like an 8 and 10 or something, I think you said. And it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
cool. Like, do you have any background? Like, did your family have background? Did you learn by uh,
Well,
family member?
yeah, that's a great question. I was just to give everybody, I guess if we're going to go really touchy feely with this entire segment, you know, I was the last child in a family that was a split family from a divorce that
Okay.
my mom met my dad after my mom already had 3 kids, was basically going through the change of life and saying, okay, I met this guy who owns the Dairy Queen in this little bitty town. So, we always laugh. Like, I could, my dad passed away when I was 3.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, don't be, because if I say you're asking who I am and where I came from.
Yeah, exactly true.
I never knew a human man to ask him for anything. So my mom was enrooted in, and I'll say this, we had a church that we went to, but she let me choose. So I had 2 brothers that were older than me and a sister who was older than me that had a different last name than me in this little bitty town.
Oh,
So
okay.
that was Huddleston. Mine was Palmer. Well,
yes.
if growing up at the time, there's Emerson Lake in Palmer, right?
You're right. Absolutely.
And I'm growing up with, I'm a famous person. I just don't, I mean, my name's out there. I mean, I no connection with reality yet. Still living in that rock and roll fantasy world. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
As I'm growing up, my older brother, his name is Ken. He's no longer with us. But he ended up being a pastor at the end of his life, and his favorite band by far when I was growing up, he snuck out of the house at 16 years old before he got married at 16 and a half and went to the Kiss concert. Right?
Wow.
And it changed his life. He came back and it changed his life. So after that, his next band that was Ken's favorite that I had to listen to now, you got to think, growing up all the time, you won't be in a real band, George, until you open up for Jackal.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Well, they came to our little neck of the woods in Danville, Illinois. Well, I ended up getting him tickets to that show, and him and Kevin, my brother, went to that show. Right? And
Sounds
again,
good.
changed his life. On his now second favorite band was Jackal. And, so unless you play with Kiss or you play with Jackal, you're not really going to have a real good leg to stand on with my older brother at, knowing what goes on in the, in the interim. Right. So
absolutely.
Kevin had a band that would play. And again, at this Mabel's place I was telling you about that had all the national acts on Monday night, they were always fighting to try to get on the Mabel's Monday Madness list. They played original music, and that was the only time that anybody was going to get signed. You know what I mean?
See,
from our little town. So my brother Kevin would be in the basement on Sundays when it's time to go to church. So my mom would be going, okay, we got to go to church. And then so as I got older, I would always go to church. But around 14, 15, now I got all the Ozzy, all the Motley Crue, all everything on my, I hate to say this on that end. I am not and there's nothing wrong with it. I am not a homosexual, but if you walk in my room at the time, you think I'm like girling out on, fanning out on all these guys on my wall. You know what I mean? Because I had them everywhere. I had them, not just posters. I had it everywhere. So I would leave that and on Sundays at 15, go downstairs and rock out with my brother. Fast forward 20 years, we get in a band together called Figure 8 in Illinois. And, do the scene of playing all the covers and all that.
Yeah, right.
And that's what kind of tripped me on 94, 95. It filtered into Illinois, and we heard Creed for the first time.
Oh, okay. So that's where the Creed comes in.
So then
so
we start adding that to our set list. Because, you got to think they had My Own Prison. They had Torn. They had, on that first album, My Own Prison, there was like 3-4 real bona fide hits that we're doing them, and everybody been coming running up to me going, you should get a tribute band to the Creed. But again, you don't see it yourself. It's like, you look like him, you sound like him. And it's like, oh, that's funny. So I take it to my brother and I go, hey, I think we should open up for ourselves. So we should be Creed tribute band. And I think we could probably get $2,000 dollars and do something. No, George, no. Nobody wants to hear. And at the time, he was right in Illinois. No one wants to hear a Creed tribute band. No one does. No one was doing it. So when I moved to Florida,
only ones that do it. There you go.
Right. Well, and he's my big brother. So it's one of those things that I've you asked me, I wrote my first song at about 9 after having a relationship, as we were talking with giving my entire life to Christ. So
Okay.
at
All
that
right.
moment, it was about whatever talent I'm going to have. And again, I didn't know I had any talent. For the first 5 years of playing with my brother, they're wanting to play 80s, round and round.
Yes.
And I'm not. That's not my vocal range. I'm more of a Jim Morrison kind of baritone. And at
Right. I
that time,
see.
I get out of college, and I got a degree in mass media communication. So I come home and let's get a band together. So I call my brother, and I'm like, get that guitar player. He's a friend of mine too, Larry Lee. And it just so happens that my brother married the drummer who was from the 80s, and it was Bill Kallenbach, who, shout out to William Kallenbach. He is doing a fundraiser this Sunday for
Okay.
the St. Jude's benefit at Whiteheath,
Awesome.
Illinois. He is giving away drum lessons. All you got to do is go onto the link. It's on Facebook. You can find him. Go on there, give your donation. And he's got like 30 pairs of drumsticks to give away as a thank you. But that's not the big thing. He has a goal of over $300 to make. I know we're a quarter away there. Help him out, please,
Awesome.
everyone in Central Illinois. So I didn't mean
Very
to go on a
cool.
tangent.
Very
I knew
cool.
that. But
Yes.
Bill Kallenbach became our drummer. And
Oh,
then
I see.
so
All right.
we were a family unit, if you really look at it, because Larry Lee, which is our guitar player, was my brother's best man in his wedding. So it was
Wow.
like,
So it all connects. It has a connection with
yeah.
like this story to that story to all of it blends.
Well,
I love
right.
that. That's really cool.
And then I had to be the one to say, when my family, decided to move to Florida, we
Yeah.
were, we were, and I hate to say this because, we started with like 5 people that would come to our shows, and then we
Yeah.
would go on the road, 20 miles or whatever. And if they didn't have a crowd, there was nobody going to be in the bar other than us because no one knew we were coming. So we
Right.
finally worked it up in our little area to have like 80 people. I mean, and the bar only held 150. So, it really did, really looked really good that we were like, really doing it on a Friday night, So to tell them that I was moving to Florida, and that, we weren't going to be playing anymore, to go back and be able to tell him that now I've, 6.5 years later, remember that idea I told you about, about getting a, Creed tribute band? Well, I was talking a lot of smack, if you talk about, to my brother-in-law, which is my wife's brother, and it's like,
Okay.
when I first moved here, it's like, you don't want to do, because he's like, I'm going to take you out and you'll be getting to see, and this is the band. This is that band. This is the biggest band that's around here right now. These are, basically the guys who were you back in your little hometown. I'm like, oh,
I
thank you
see.
so
Yeah.
much. I go, but I told him, I go, what I want to do, and you mark my words. His name's Michael. So I go, Michael,
Okay.
I go,
Mhm.
you mark my words. I'm going to start a tree tribute band, and we're going to make about $3,000 per show, just not over a run of weekends or whatever. And you watch. I'm hoping that's going to be something. If I'm going to get back into music, because he's like, you should get a band, start a band. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to try to do it
Absolutely.
right. And so again, started these different things. Was ended up starting my own karaoke business, which turned into a bingo business where I work Monday through Thursday calling numbers for business bars around here in
Well,
different
that's
places.
pretty cool. That sounds interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, again, that's how I met the guys in this project that we have right now.
I love
Because
it. Very
in,
cool.
in that process, one of those bars, we're playing it, and we meet the same promoter, and that's when they were
Okay.
like, this is becoming, kind of a returning cycle of, you get into it, you think, man, this is really going to be something, and there's no money there. And that was the agreement when you first started. Man, we've been doing this a long time. We're getting older. We're not spring chickens. I mean,
Exactly.
so
Mhm.
that
So
to me
how's it
was,
going now? Like what direction is it getting better? Do you have a tour coming? Are you traveling different places?
well, again, a little advice for all
Yeah.
the bands out there. If you do original music, or if you are actually in a tribute or even in a cover act, and you are the
Mhm.
best that you think that you can be, I
Yes.
would really recommend getting someone to represent you who is that gatekeeper, who can open different doors, that you could be a great talker and try to work your way in, but you're just never going to be able to open that door because your key will never fit.
I see. I got you.
So that would be my biggest advice. But yeah, this Friday we're coming up and playing the Tin Roof over in
Okay.
Orlando,
All
and
right.
which is, if I can say, it was a really awesome show for us to get, because speaking of, we have our management, which is Maxim. It's MAXIMUMBAND.com. So
Okay. There
our
you go.
agent, which is Rich, and that's Rich at MaximumBands.com, he took over for us and taking us to this different level of,
Oh, good.
you
Okay. I
know,
see. Mm-hmm.
playing a bar like Tin Roof is something is wonderful. But we just got done playing in Inverness, Florida, and that was with um, a great band called Ramble On, which was a tribute to Led Zeppelin. Shout out to them. And we played in front of 7,000 people. So it's a big difference when you're trying to bust through it yourself and be that bar band playing to 3 to 5, when you get a really, an agent that has back, grips and really a strong not only a strong work ethic, but
Right.
strong relationships that he's built in 20 years. So are we
Absolutely.
reaping all of his rewards very quickly? Yeah, we are, and we're very grateful of that.
Awesome.
But in June, we're playing Fort Myers, which is
Okay.
the Buddha Live in Fort Myers, Florida. And then on the 13th of June, we play the Main Street Station in Daytona.
Nice.
And
Awesome. Awesome.
then the 21st, we're going to play at the Largo Event Center,
Okay.
June 21st. And July 12th, we come over to Tampa, and we're playing the Wild Rover Brewing Company.
Oh, okay.
And
That's a
then we
tongue
hit the road
twister.
again. Right?
Trying
And
to
then
say
we hit
that
the road
fast
again
5 times.
in
Not once
September.
for me. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In September, on the 12th, we go to, and I'm going to say it wrong. It's an amphitheater, and we drove past it in Georgia. But
Okay.
it's the Lou, SOBH. So I'm a little bit soba. But we're going to be playing there September the 12th. And it's a beautiful facility, if I can say.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Well,
Free.
nice.
I believe it's a free concert. With
Okay.
almost with all of our things that we do, it's
Yeah.
you can get in for free, but you can also purchase a VIP ticket.
There
So
you go. So how many's
it's
in the band? How many members are in the band?
we're a 4-piece. So
4.
we have
Okay.
Issam
Thank you, Sheila.
plays guitar, Randy plays bass, and Jay is our drummer. And again, I'm the singer. So Jay Morrison, again, was the architect of what we're doing. And
Awesome.
if
So
I can
he's
say, we've probably the second thing that we got with Maximum was this show September the 27th, and we're going up to
Okay.
Brooksville, and it's a Brooksville winery, and basically they've got a full thing planned with food and drink and VIP
Nice
packages, meet and
festival
greet.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very, very cool. I love festivals outside. Nice breeze, food, all that good stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Very, very cool. So I'd like to I want to show everybody your music at the moment and want to put together, I'm going to play a song, if that's okay.
Well, sure. I mean, if you want to, you can
Yeah,
you
I
can always
sure do.
you could always do this. You could play one of ours and then play one of theirs and say, in comparison, to make more comment, because I'm right here. I'm ready to answer questions, and I am ready to chat with everyone. And I have not got one question yet, and the chat lines are open when she goes to this
Right.
music.
Well, I did post one question that you was Sheila was asking how many was in the band.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna play one song here, and here we go.
Please turn around, I think I'm falling apart and I know what I've been busy. I thought I found a road to nowhere, and I'm trying to escape. I cry, and I've been fading, but I'm down to one last friend. Hold me down. I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down. And I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking.
That's very, very cool. So how's that feeling like being up on stage and everybody's singing along to the songs? That's really cool.
Well, and thank you so much. If I could say, Lisa, that was our um, mid-tier of our rise, if you talk about where we are now. So
Okay.
with that video, we were making that video. So that's what I kind of takes me back to, because, I'm a perfectionist to a certain extent, you know what I mean? But to have to watch that and hear me blob, mess up the first couple of verses there of what I should be doing. And now,
Okay. Mhm.
with the new management that we have, and we've reached another level, to say that, if you go further on now into our promotions, that was our very first one to try to get signed
Oh,
with him.
wow. Okay.
So that one holds a close tear in my heart, because, a good friend of mine did it, you know what I mean? But
That's
we
true.
were, I just done a good little backstory. There's a MDA football game that is done here in Central Florida by a good friend of mine. And the gentleman always does the drone footage that does that game, and ended up doing our video. So I was with him 2 days, before, and then after I'm there, and he's showing me cuts of what you just watched. He's showing me that, going, "What do you think? What do you think?" As like a very first look at it, and I was like, "Oh, that's my second thing I go back to, is me and him standing there helping raise money." And I'm basically, that's what I went to school for, was to be like an announcer. So I was
So-
doing the play-by-play for the football game, and it was just so great. At halftime, he comes over and you take a look at this, take a look at this. So I was like, oh, that's so great.
Awesome.
But the bigger kick in the pants, if I could say, you asked me what did it feel like?
Yes.
It felt even better on May 16th, whenever we were at Suck Bang Blow at 10 o'clock at night, being the headliner for the last night of this wonderful rally that they do every single, twice a season. And the fact that I was in like taking aback and awe of, I busted into that and it was like I shut up and was like, wow, that was a moment to where even through my in-ears that we have, so we're very complicated. Well, I say we're an easy band to work with, but if you hear what's going on in all of our heads, it is like a juggling act of like, really, you got to do all of that at one time. Yeah. And sing, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, there's a lot to do. People don't understand or don't realize what you all have to do up there on the stage. It's a lot of things.
Well,
and then if something blows out, the other, like say, like if your guitar string goes,
oh yeah, well,
the show it's just got to keep going.
well,
And
you're talking about something mechanical. I guess what
oh, that's what I was saying.
and we'll give your listeners a little inside of what happens with the band that actually not only tries to do their homework,
Right.
but then be at the top of whatever field that you're in. My wife is a very high end kind of lady on the end of, if I got to do it, she was in the Army. So if I got to do it and I don't do it right the first time, I hear about it when I get home on a very high level on the fact
She's
of,
gonna let you know.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
You've been with me like 15 years. It hasn't gotten into you yet. That you know what I mean? I mean, she has a great acronym, or what do you call it? But basically, piss poor planning.
Okay.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Will prevent a piss poor performance.
Got you. Okay.
And that I think that's from military setting, on the fact of that is what I've heard for all this time, on the fact of now meeting gentlemen who feel that way too. So
Yes.
a little insight. So whenever we're doing a song like you just listened to, whenever we go into that big drop where it's like, home and now, there is not only the backing of a violin that we don't have to play.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize that it's there because it's not supposed to be. It's just there, but that's in your ear.
Right.
Along with, I choose a lady, along with someone telling you what your cue is to come in. So as soon as she goes, the last verse, she'll go 5, 4, 3. And then you got to come in on time.
Oh,
so
okay.
There's a lot of things going on in your head, and then, plus you got the bass, you got the other singer, guitar, and everything else that's going on. But there's also what we have to keep us on time. And that is, a lot of bands don't like it. And so we'll go on a little tangent here. We'll talk about how professional do you want to be? Because when you go into the studio to record, most great producers that you're going to play with will say, have you ever played with the click? And that's our first question.
I've heard of that. What is that? What is the click?
Doot, 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 doot.
That's what I thought.
You know what I mean? So that's going on in your head as well as you're singing, and you got all this other stuff going on.
Wow. So you're hearing a whole bunch of different things, and you got to be on point.
And that's, again, so a lot of people just look at it and be like, oh, wow, that they're pretty good. If you would actually come behind and put everything that you're seeing as we're playing, you'd be like, I don't think I'd want to do that. On that end of, that's kind of hard. It isn't just getting up there and singing. So the fact that now, we can't just get up there and be ourselves totally. We now have to look like them, sound like them. And to me, that's kind of this wonderful blessing burden that you get given to you. Either you look like someone who is someone, and now you can do that. And then now you just got to practice, can you sing or can you play guitar or whatever? So
exactly. You like the whole show, whether you sound like them, look like them, you want to give them the whole outer shell of the show.
Well, that's the difference, because there's some really good tribute bands out there.
Yes.
But what we're talking about now are the premier tribute band. So when you go in, you're actually now looking at and leaving the show going, I know that wasn't Creed, but that was pretty darn close to being Creed. That was almost Creed. You know what I mean? I mean, on certain times I looked at him and he looked just like the guy. You know,
there you go.
I do that all the time with the great acts that we have on Maximum Bands. There's like 5 artists, and I'll call one out right now, the Brooks and Dunn tribute act that we do, or you know, that we have on our roster. Man, when I first watched their promo reel, I really thought it was like 4 times. I was like, he looks like Ronnie Dunn. Wow, you look like Ronnie. And that to me was, you know, you can get plastic surgery or whatever, but you know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just have it unless the good Lord gives it to you. And it just so happens, you know, I'm here's another kind of good story. You know, I've had to, I'll just put it this way without getting too deep, but everyone knows who has known me since I've grown up. I've had a full life. So I'm sitting in Catlin, Illinois, and I'm praying on my knees, you know, with this relationship thing that we were talking about with, you know, I don't believe in religion, but I have a relationship with my creator. So all my life, I've been a state champion. I've been I went to college in sports. I was you know, this, that, and I didn't do anything. He just blessed me with it. And I was really fast and I could do this. And I got all these accolades and I got all these things given to me by his grace. And
it's wonderful.
So I'm sitting with my, you know, I totally, just so you'll know, Lisa, you know, I have 6 children, but at the time I have my 3 children and I'm praying, you know, in a full fast atmosphere of all I want to hear is my voice on the radio. And I know you can do anything. And I know if I ask anything, you've already given me everything I've ever asked for. You've already given me it. So all I want to hear is my voice on the radio. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't know God or you don't know who he is, I want you to know in that moment, he has a great personality like you do and a sense of humor out of this world, because that was the first time I heard Scott Stapp sing My Own Prison.
Wow. Very cool.
And now you can go full circle that this is what I do for a living now, is I now sing the song that I wanted to hear my voice on the radio for.
Yes.
And it wasn't even my voice. It's his voice.
Right. But you still can hear that. Yeah,
well, I'm just saying, Scott got that blessing. You know what I mean? Of being of whatever fame and whatever that I may have really wanted in my heart, but the Lord knows my heart, and he goes, no, you don't. You really wouldn't want that, because then you'd be like already burnt out and probably dead and or whatever. You know what I mean? He knows better than what we do. So again, for me to come full all the way around to be, you know, again, I have to mention that the very first show that we played with our new management was a Kiss America tribute band.
Wow. And very cool.
And they were happening to play the Janus Live, which is a very big venue in St. Petersburg. All the major acts that, you know, actually Jerry Cantrell just announced that he's coming through Janus Live for his, you know, his thing. So again, that is I can't even put into words how much God is, how much he is real, and how much, if anyone wanted to really break it down, he made you so awesome that you're a God yourself. All you got to do is believe in yourself and speak things out of your mouth and not and take away the negative. And you could almost do everything. If you install Jesus Christ into the equation, you can do anything, my friend. Anything. It's all possible. And I'm just saying,
and I love that.
I'm living my dream in Florida.
And that's what you need to do, and fulfill that, and, you know, follow your heart, follow your passion, live your dream, and that's what makes you happy and makes everybody else happy and everything. Now, have you collaborated with other tribute bands? Is there, like, I always wanted to have, like, I'm not a promoter in that sense of the word, but I always would love to have tribute bands, like a tribute band festival. That would be amazing. That would be a super cool thing, you know.
Okay. Okay. You can't take things that I tell you in secret and then bring them out and want me to talk about them out on the air. You can't do that. That's not fair. Yes, we are in the works of doing just exactly what you're talking about right
Wow,
now.
I'm psychic. How did I know? No, I'm kidding.
Well, and again, it isn't us. We were informed when we
Yes.
joined with our management team that there is a tribute festival that is going to have, 5, 6, whatever number of bands, on it.
Okay.
But
Do you know where it's going to happen at? Do you know where it's going to be?
I do, and I
But you
can't,
can't
and
say
I
it.
can't tell you.
That's okay. It's okay.
No, see, now you're making me feel special. But yeah, again,
I
when our
need to find
management
out. When you
releases,
find out, you message me, and then I'll be
yeah,
happy.
yeah. When our management lets us know that we can release that information, like I said, there's about 7 or 8 things right now that,
Yes.
again, Jay, our drummer, is the only way I can say it is he is our conduit with this band. So when we do anything, he was in the forefront of going, listen, it isn't me. We're all going to be, if you say no, I'm not going to argue with you. We all want to be on the same page. So
Yes.
right from the very beginning, we have always known the goal, known what it's going to take to get there. And he has done all the back work to help us get there. So
Awesome.
I got to give big props to Jay because in what you're talking about,
Yes.
we have 8 or, and I'll be nice. We have under 10 things that he'll, give us a quick text and say, here's what we've been offered.
Wow.
What do you think? And everybody has already went on and we've made a schedule with Google, whatever calendar or whatever. So everybody who does their own thing, again, I'm really the only one except for Issam. I would say Issam is a man who's not only plays great music, but he is a sound engineer.
Oh,
So
okay.
he
Yes.
does all the great venues around here. When it's
Yeah.
Bike Week, he's the guy
Right.
they call. So
Oh, okay. Sounds
right.
good, sounds good.
How
Yeah.
can you not be in a great band when you have all these pieces that fall into place of, hey, I can take care of that. I got that.
There
And
you go.
you know what I mean? And not only that,
That's the kind of person you need for all of that. Yes.
yeah. Well, and we don't even use it. That's my point. I mean,
Okay.
everything that we've recorded has been with this space that Issam has, and we just kind of, hey man, thanks for letting us show up to your place. You're always mixing a band, or you're always, letting a band rehearse here, or like I said, he does this for a living. Me and him are the only one that really do it for a living. Where Jay and Randy, the joke is, you keep booking shows like this, and I may get to quit my day job.
There you
I mean, that's kind of the joke. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I see.
and I hate to say it, that we're getting really close to that, and we haven't even been a band in a year. So
Oh,
that is
when you
nothing.
get into that dream closer and closer without, so much time. It's getting faster. You're getting there closer. Yes.
Well, again, as we were talking before, he knew where we, wanted to be.
Yeah.
And he knew the avenue to get there. So it was all a matter of, we had to do our homework and we had to be the best that we could be. And so when we walked in the room, everybody already had their part learned. You know what I mean? And Jay, who I just found out this past weekend, changed his entire drumming style to make it that our tribute is going to look. I mean, he has every drum that he has, and shout out to Soul Tone cymbals. He got endorsed by them, and also by Collision
That's good.
Drumsticks. So, he got to be an endorsed artist. So, now when we go out and this I'll tell you a quick real good story. Over in Suck Bang Blow, a wonderful fan ran up in before we played and had this, her phone out, and she's like, "Hey, here's my picture of all my drumsticks that I have at home.
Oh,
Can I get a drumstick, please, so I can put it in my case?" And so
Oh,
that, right? And so if you talk about being able to pass that on, and like I said, that's the main reason why he's endorsed, is to have your name on it and have those things. So,
there you go.
getting the fans acquainted with what, again, working with so many people, we know this could go away tomorrow.
Yes.
And we also know that it could go on for another 10, 15 years, but we're not promised tomorrow.
Exactly.
So
Great.
with having that humility and that respect, that's the one thing that we've always tried to do, right from not only with you, Lisa, with every interview we do, but also the acts that we play with.
Right.
We, again, well, we were talking a little, when I was in the green room, we were talking, and
Yes.
I look at it like we have a couple of shows that we do. We either have an A show, we have a B show, or we have a C show. The A show is we get to do 45 minutes. We open up for somebody. We get to give you the hits. You're going to think we are Creed.
Right.
If we do the B show, you're going to get a 2-hour show, which you're going to get all the hits, but then you're going to get, just like they give you in their show, a couple of filler songs that you may not have heard. And you've got to
Something
really
in
be
there.
you're really going to be a Creed fan if you're really going to go to our C show. And the C show is 3 hours, which means now you're going to get all the hits and you're going to get all the cuts and probably some of the songs you've never even heard because they're not released yet.
That's true. Because you got to fill all of that. Yes, absolutely.
Right. Well,
Absolutely.
and that's the cool thing with us is, we're in the works right now with our management with bringing on another piece to add for our fans. Which
okay.
I can't have me back, and we'll follow that up whenever
Absolutely.
6 months goes by or so, or maybe 4 months goes by, or whenever it is given to him that he goes, okay, let's do it. So
there you go.
Again, we have
And
some things down the pike.
Absolutely. Now, do you have merch? Do you have merch? I didn't see anything. I was trying to find something. Do you have merch that people can buy, and where can you buy it?
At our shows.
At your shows? Okay.
We don't believe. I'm just playing. Yeah. We have dog tags, T-shirts,
okay.
bottle openers.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Koozies, I think. And
Oh, I love those little things. Now, can you buy them online or no?
No. Well, I say that I don't believe so. But if you go, I'll say this: everything that you're probably asking for, you can go to humanclaytribute.com.
Okay.
And it'll give you every single thing you want to see for our shows coming up, where we have played, some bio information and different things that we put together. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So
very cool.
Really excited about our Instagram following.
Awesome.
Shout out to all of our Instagrammers. We're about ready to click over 11,000.
Whoa, congratulations.
Yeah,
very
thank
cool.
you. Well,
you're welcome. Yes.
And again, that's what we're talking about. I didn't really realize it. I just thought, oh, you're a tribute band. Well, there's different levels before even someone will take you on and say, hey, you're a really good tribute band, but not only you're the best tribute band in the nation.
Wow.
So that's where we kind of got, again, leapfrogging kind of quick, but only because God gave us this. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like we worked hard for it, like super, super hard. We had to do our homework, but just like everything else, we just did a benefit for autism at the barn.
Oh, that's so cool.
I
love those type of benefits. Oh, my heart goes out to thank you so much for doing that. That's so cool.
Well, we're really close to that. A drummer, Jay, it was a real close tie. So anyway, to be able to be given that opportunity to play an iconic place here in Sanford, Florida, that Garth Brooks played before he got broken. So again, the place holds 5,000 people. I mean, you know what I mean? It's a country place. Man. So the fact that we were there on the fact of, and I hate to say it on any band, but it's always like, hey, when you first get into this business, it's always like, okay, yeah, whatever, where have you played? You know what I mean? And so in a tribute aspect, now it's what iconic venue have you played that you've reached the status of, and I hate to say this, but every band is this. You're either on your way up and then coming down. You know what I mean? Right. So you meet, I mean, they ain't lying. And when you watch it in the movies and they say, you better be good to them on the way up and the way coming down, because I'm meeting a lot of them on the way down, and to be shocked on the fact of, you know what I mean? Our management is so awesome that we're worth the same as, someone who is not in their prime, but they're still working hard and they're still just trying to do their thing. And they're still at a high level that people want to see you at a bike rally. You know what I mean? So try never to take this for granted on the fact of, we're here, we're not here yet, but we'll get there.
You're getting there. I mean? You're working hard. You're climbing that ladder, and you're doing what you love to do and following your heart and your passion. Well, and following your dreams.
And I will say this, you said it right, Lisa, you said it right. Anyone who does not believe, and I'll say this, that your dreams cannot come true, I am here to tell you, if you believe with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and you speak it out of your mouth, you may not be happening. But if you give it life, you will reap the rewards for that. Maybe, again,
Absolutely.
it took me 35 years, but
Yes.
it happened.
See that? Just keep the faith, and it will happen. It will. It will.
What is faith? But calling forth things that are not there, and you're calling them as they are already there. And
Right.
again, it was kind of funny because I went to my drummer. I'm going to go like full circle back when it was just starting Figure Eight, and I had a dream that I was singing because my own prison had just blown up. So I had a dream that I was singing in front of thousands of people, and I go to my drummer at the time, and I'm like, man, we got to do My Own Prison for sure, because we're going to be playing in front of tons of people if we do it. Fast forward it, the actual vision that he gave me was Inverness, Florida, because like when you're singing and you look out and it's like deja vu, but yet you get all these like goosebumps just go all over you, and you're like, wow, and the spirit just jumps on you, and you're like, I've been here before.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
It was my dream, and it was one of those. So I told the guys about it, a little bit after on our way home. But it was one of those things that I'll share it with your listeners, because that right there, if you don't have any kind of realm of it happening to you, I want you to know it has happened to me my entire life. And ever since the age of 8, like you said, I have made my decision to share my talent. And, just like with the India, I'm talking about with Bill Kallenbach, he went on there and set a goal instantly. Yeah. I give, you know what I mean? And if he has a goal of $300, I'm going to give you at least $50, man. Only because I know how long me and him would stand in a gas station and play for the Salvation Army, just me and him. I'm playing guitar, he's playing drums.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or there's we played outside of a gas station one time right after it snowed to all the people pulling up to do the Salvation Army. So, different kind of things of using your talent. So, is it nice to be rewarded? It is, either with whatever accolade or whatever, you may get. But honestly and truthfully, and I may go dead here. I apologize. My phone's going dead. So if I do, I didn't hang up on you.
That's fine.
Or I didn't get mad at you of a question that you may have asked.
That's okay. I understand.
but I'm going to go another tangent. So I'm going to throw out a challenge to everyone out there to help your community. In your community, you have people that stand at a stop sign and have a sign that say, help me, I'm homeless. You don't know what their incident is, or help me, I just lost my job. Anything will help. God bless you. Well, I want you to stop in your car. I don't care if there's 50 people behind you waiting to take it, the next light or whatever. Stop.
Yes.
Talk to that person. And I want you to say to them, how much for your sign? And I want you to have at least $100 in your pocket, because when he throws out an outrageous number to you, I want you to cover it. And that blessing is going to come back to you, not one, not two, but it'll come back to you tenfold, my friend.
Wow. Okay.
And now take that sign, because you can use me as an example if you want, but that's what I do around here. Ever since I got to Florida, I hate to say it, I take these people's art and I'm making it a total work by combining it all together as soon as I get $5,000. And then I'm going to display it.
Awesome. Very, very cool. I love all that, what you were saying. Very, very cool.
But now, you can make your own benchmark if you want to. $100, $200, mine is $5. But again,
wish I had that. I don't have it. So,
but here's my point. But if you do that, you're going to have so much money, you're not going to know what to do with it if you're a good steward with it.
I understand.
If you have $100, he'll make it 10,000. All you got to do is the thing I just said. You want $1 million? You'll have $1 million flowing through your hands, but just know you're not going to spend it for yourself.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that's okay. It's fine. But I just have a couple more questions, and then probably a song, and then I'll have to let you go.
Oh, sounds great.
Yes. You're very good. Very good. It's going well. What do you like most about being a musician?
Being able to share the talent that I had. And if anybody ever says, wow, I love the way you sing, then I can look at them dead and I can go, then you must believe in God.
There you go. There you
because he gave me that voice. I don't try. I don't, again, I have the Ronnie James Dio, and maybe pompous. I'm not trying to be, you know what I mean? But I have the Ronnie James Dio attitude of singing. Either you got it or you don't. You don't go back there. I got to warm up, man. Give me 15 minutes. I need to run myself. No, that's an ego thing.
I got you.
In my opinion, are there great rehearsal things and everything else? But as he said, if you got it, you got it. And you don't have to practice it. So I mean, you may catch me if if I have a bad throat or whatever that night. We played 3 nights in a row. You may catch me in the bathroom. I won't say that. Going,
little scratchy,
but I don't want to hear anybody saying, man, and he's like out there doing scales and getting ready, and again, the Lord has blessed me with my voice. The day that anybody ever says to me, or you hear, wow, he just ain't got it no more, he's taken his grace off of me.
I gotcha.
Good question.
Yeah, I have another one. What one word describes you as a musician?
Patient.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Well, in what we talked about before, I have an original act that I'll mention real quickly. It's called Fire Inside. We have a record company called Rock Out Records. And we as a record company, which is all 3 members of our band, core members of our band, we own everything we do.
Awesome.
So cool. Anytime, and I've got my publishing deal with that. So if you talk about on YouTube or wherever it may come, and I gentlemen and ladies, I will be very honest with you. I am not a millionaire in money, but I am a millionaire because I have a beautiful wife. I have wonderful kids. I have a wonderful family. I got to do what I get to do every single day. I wake up and I am blessed with him.
There you go.
Just keeping me alive. Well, I can tell you the backstory on that one because we had to cancel a couple of shows for a personal thing that went down with me. That I am very thankful to be alive.
Okay.
And the fact that as soon as I got out of the hospital, everything changed and 360 for us.
Wow.
I'm just saying, on that end, the enemy is real, and do everything you can to put on the armor of God because he will attack. And the only way you're going to go under the sand is if you do it yourself. He can't do anything to you.
Right.
Only your hands will do whatever it is and whatever being that you're talking about. So
there you go. That makes sense.
In everything of what essence that we're talking about, I am so thankful that I met 4 gentlemen that have wonderful families that have already passed whatever bridge it is of, we want to be rock stars, or whatever.
Yeah.
The humility in this band is so beyond anything I could fathom, and I can see now. Another piece of advice: if you keep trying, you might as well stop, because like with this project, we have not tried anything. We just say, hey, I think we should get together, and with all of our combined talent and putting the effort in, it is now just exploding across the country. And again, it's a great thing, but we know that Creed is the band that gets paid the $800,000. We're not even trying to act like we get paid a quarter of that.
Right.
All we're happy with is the fact that we can play. I mean, because with our band, right, they put out this little thing that said, hey, why don't we do Creed? Jay listened to his wife. And again, any man that's in a band that has a wife, get off your high horse, listen to her, because any man that has a wife, you'll go farther by listening to her other than tell her not to be a part of something.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You definitely have to have her be a part of it. Absolutely.
Well, not even a part. She doesn't have to come, but she has to support you.
Support. That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Like, no, but I'm saying though, but she could go, oh, great gig, honey. Have a good gig. In her heart. I'm talking in her heart. You've got to find the right one that will put up. Being a musician is not an easy thing to deal with. And I'm saying that as being a front man of a band who's told, have humility and have grace. But then again, go out there and be that guy who everybody wants to be. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's that fine line of being real, but yet knowing when you step on stage, you got to entertain.
Exactly.
And that's the difference between life and art, in my opinion, where
Yes.
I try to combine the two. So what you hear on stage from me isn't a stick. It's coming from my heart, and it changes every night.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Now, what
Well,
advice? Go ahead.
oh, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, what advice would you give to someone just starting out in the music field, music world?
Look for a lawyer that you can trust
Oh, okay.
and get an agent, again, like we spoke, that can
Mhm.
open doors for you.
Okay.
But before you get all of that, right,
Yeah.
you got to make sure you find people who are committed.
Okay.
And when I mean committed, I mean that will drive from Marriott Island, Florida, to Longwood, Florida, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive,
Okay.
just to meet somebody to say, will it work?
Like, don't be afraid to drive from place to place to do this. Yes.
Well, like you're saying, you know,
Mhm.
and I guess I just live this way on that end. You know, depending on who you are and where you are in your journey in life, you're going to meet a lot of people. But
Yeah.
the question is there's only a certain number that'll make magic, and you got to find that together. And you know when it happens because things just start coming to you, and you don't have to
Right.
try.
Right.
So that would be my first thing: is find people who are committed, and no matter what project you were wanting to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like for instance, I love writing my own stuff. But
Yeah.
if you talk about being, you know, a band that is heard across the country, yeah, you know, my band Fire Inside, FYREINSYDE.com. We are on every platform, everything you can sing, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
getting hooked up with the right vehicle is important. So a shout out to 104.1, The Monsters in the Morning. We made an album with them for Mark
Awesome.
Tremonti. So by us helping his daughter and making an album with them, I truly believe that's how this door really fully opened up with Creed, is because we were a part of that, process of, giving back. And
There you go.
to me,
Yes.
that's really kind of, you're asking me, what are we here to do? We are here to love our brother or our sister as we love ourselves. And then we have to love our enemy more than we love our brother.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
And if you can do those two things, because in my own opinion, and just in walking in life, to see a smile on somebody's face whenever they tell you, and I'll give you the example, pulled up just 2 days ago, gentleman standing in the middle of the road, and I pull up, my usual thing, and I say, hey, how much for your sign? $20. That's all?
Yeah.
And I get to see his look on his face that I was going to hand him $20. But then he had no problem handing over his sign. And then to drive down maybe a quarter of a mile, and a guy's in the middle of it, and he walks all the way across the intersection as I ask him the same question, and he goes, $30. So for a $50 investment in someone's soul, I was probably the only one that talked to him all day long.
Wow.
Other
Very
people throw change at him.
Oh,
But that's why we're here.
that's right. That's right.
If
Well,
you see
for us-
someone in need, to help them.
That's very true. I'm gonna play another song while I got the boards asking for some more music there. And
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but I also want to say that wrapping up, October the 13th is the last date that I had to give to you for you're asking about our tour. And
Yes.
it's going to be in Stockyard, Bristol, Tennessee.
Oh, well,
It's
cool.
called the Stockyard. So
Stockyard.
again,
Awesome.
we're going to be coming to you, Tennessee, and we're also, coming to Georgia as the numbers that we mentioned. So we're starting to hit the road, and again, it's one of those things that it's so awesome to be able to touch so many people. Whenever it's nothing that you've done, and I can totally reflect that back to the message that you were asking about. with whatever you're going to play next. I'm hoping that it's Janice Live, but I don't know, because it'll be a real big stage for us to go from doing a benefit and having, 300 people there with us, which was incredible, to say, you guys were awesome. And then to be catapulted into, again, this real atmosphere of being treated like, and again, you talk to a lot of artists, to be treated like a real artist, and then to
Yes.
get paid like a real artist.
Absolutely.
And to know that someone, believes in you equal as you believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
And I'll say that Rich, I think he believes in us more than we believe in ourselves at some moments.
Oh,
and
there you go.
and that's a wonderful thing to have. Like I said,
Yes.
we're trying not to get too cocky on the fact of everything's happening really fast. We don't deserve this yet. So it's one of those things to have it happen and to be able to share in 3 other people's dream when, you know what I mean? You knew it was yours, but to have that, like you said, to have that faith in this next video you're going to watch it to come true.
Yes.
It's amazing.
There you go.
Thank you
And
for talking with me, Lisa.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. And here is the video.
Gorda's in session, a burning desert. No appeal on the docket today, just my own sin. Doors cold and pale, the cage made of steel. Screams fill the room, alone I drop and kneel. Silence now the sound, my breath the only emotion around. Demons fluttering around, my face showing no emotion. Shackled by my sentence, expecting no return. Till there is no penance, my sin begins to burn. And I say, oh, hear a thunder in the distance, see a vision of the cross, feel the pain that was given on the sad day of ours. The lion roars in the darkness, only he holds the key. The light to free me from my burden and bring me life eternally. Should have been dead on a Sunday morning, playing my head. No time for mourning, ain't got no time. Should have been dead on a Sunday morning, banging my head. No time for mourning, ain't got no time. When I say, oh, I hate my head, oh, I hate that when I say, sunshines all over the sun, you feel all over the world. Lions got to cling over hills to see a show. People sending your birds up here, my old a lion got to cling over hills to see a show. People sending your birds up here, my old prison.
Awesome. I like that one.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Well, I got to admit that's the one that when we watched it back, the gentleman that is down on the right front in the very beginning of that video, to see him get all excited. Well, that's our agent. That's Rich, and it was really cool to he made the video without even wanting to make the video. So in those
Wow.
moments, it's always funny to have those little behind. No one really knows that. Like I said, I want to drop that to you. Like, well, yeah, and you got our agent in that there.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, George.
Well, I want to say thank you, Lisa, for having me on Front Row Promotions.
There you go.
If you want to be heard, make sure you get in the front row.
That's right. I love that. Very, very cool. Sweet. Awesome. Awesome. And you're more than welcome to post your music on my page. I have 2 pages, one group page and one's the actual page. So feel free to post on there as much as you like.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to get on your platform and to give a little more light to Human Clay. And I know on behalf of Issam and Randy and Jay and myself, thank you so much to Front Row Promotions for allowing us, with the big time that we have in this world, there's so much of it just going away so quickly. Thank you for giving us a piece of yours.
You're welcome. Anytime. You're welcome. And you always are welcome to come back when you have, fresh and new more in stuff to do, to show, to share.
I'm going to hold you to that. Whenever I get the first 6 handed to me from our Maxim bands, I'm going to make sure I get a hold of you.
There you go. You got it. You got it.
and I'll try. Like I said, we are kind of spread out, being who we are. But I know that everyone has the technology that next time we could probably have all 4 of us in the end.
That's true, and that would be fine. We can fit that in there. Everything's good. I can hold up to that many people and more. So that would be awesome. That would be really cool. We'll have a good time.
Well, thanks again, Lisa. It has been a pleasure to talk with you.
It's been a pleasure to talk with you as well. Thank you so much for coming to Front Row Promotions.
It is awesome to be in the front row.
That's right. The only way to see a show is in the front row.
Well, only the good ones.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'm just saying, if it isn't really a good show, you don't fight to the front row. That is true. If it's one that you really want to see, they will fight to the front row. Ooh, I like that too. I like that too.
Yes.
Fight
for the front row. Alrighty, I think his screen is froze, but we want to say thank you for watching Front Row Promotions. Support live music, music in the making, music everywhere. Thank you again, Kathleen Gray, for supporting and sending this band towards me so I can interview them. And Kathleen Gray is with, I keep forgetting, it is music, what is it called? I wrote it down. Metal Meltdown Records. I'm telling you, I get twisted sometimes. But anyway, thank you very much for watching Front Row Promotions. All right, Lisa, bye now.
Your deal on the docket today, just my own sin. Rose gold and pale, the cage made of steel. Screams fill the room, but Lord, I drop and kneel. Silence now the sound, my breath the only emotional vow. Demons fluttering around, my face showing no emotion. Shackled by my sentence, expecting no return. Till there is no penance, my sin begins to burn. And I say, oh, and I say, hear a thunder in the distance, see a vision of the cross, feel the pain that was given on the sad day of ours. The lion roars in the darkness, only he holds the key. The light of flame from my